In July of 1776, the Declaration of Independence announced a bold idea. The American colonies were now a free nation. But this freedom was only written on paper. To make it real, America would have to fight a long, brutal war against the most powerful empire in the world, Great Britain. This is the epic story of how a fragile young nation stood up, survived, and won against impossible odds.
Do you think we truly stand a chance against chance?
No. Purpose? Yes. And purpose win war.
Only weeks after America declared independence, Britain arrived with overwhelming force. New York Harbor filled with the largest British invasion fleet ever seen at that time. 400 ships, 32,000 soldiers, and elite Hessian mercenaries. The message was clear. Britain intended to crush the rebellion fast. The Continental Army, poorly trained, poorly equipped, and outnumbered, tried to defend New York. But the British Army's discipline and firepower were far too strong. After a series of devastating defeats, George Washington made a bold decision. Instead of fighting to hold New York, he would fight to save his army. In a daring nighttime escape across the East River, Washington evacuated 9,000 soldiers without losing a single man. New York was lost, but the revolution survived.
Captain, I've never seen so many ships in my life.
Aye, and every one of them came to break our spirit. Don't let them.
By late 1776, things looked hopeless. The Continental Army had shrunk from 20,000 men to less than 2,500. Many had no shoes, leaving bloody footprints in the snow. Britain believed the revolution would collapse at any moment, but Washington refused to let the spirit of freedom die. On Christmas night, in a violent snowstorm, he made one of the boldest moves of the war, the crossing of the Delaware River. Through freezing waters and deadly ice, the army rode silently to attack the Hessian garrison at Trenton. The next morning, the Americans surprised the enemy and captured 900 Hessian soldiers, turning despair into hope. A week later, Washington won again at Princeton. These victories didn't end the war, but they saved it.
Captain, what if the river takes us? Then we cross faster.
Sir, we won.
Aye. Freedom needed a spark, and we lit it.
In 1777, Britain launched a massive plan to cut the colonies in half. General John Burgoyne marched south from Canada with 8,000 soldiers, expecting to crush American resistance. But the Americans had a better plan. They forced the British into the forests around Saratoga, where their formations became useless. After two fierce battles, Burgoyne's army was surrounded and forced to surrender 5,800 troops. It was a stunning victory, and it changed history. The world now believed the Americans could win, and one nation decided to join the fight: France.
Sir, the British line looks unstoppable.
Not in these woods, lad. The forest fights with us today.
5,000 British surrendered? Sir, is it truly over?
Not
Benjamin Franklin, dressed in simple American clothing, charmed the French royal court. Saratoga convinced France that America was worth supporting. In 1778, France officially formed an alliance with the United States, sending money, soldiers, weapons, and a powerful navy. For Britain, the war just became far more complicated. The revolution was no longer a rebellion. It was a global war.
Captain, France is sending ships, real warships.
Aye, lad. Seems the world just took our side.
Does this mean Britain will hit back?
The winter of 1777 to 78 at Valley Forge became a symbol of American endurance. 12,000 soldiers entered the camp, cold, hungry, and lacking basic supplies. Nearly 2,000 would die of disease, frostbite, and starvation. But something remarkable happened there. A Prussian military officer, Baron von Steuben, trained the freezing soldiers into a disciplined, modern army. When spring arrived, the Americans marched out of Valley Forge stronger than ever before.
Captain! Captain! Will any of us live to see spring? The question is whether we rise with it. So we don't just look like soldiers anymore.
Britain changed its strategy in 1780. They believed the South had more loyalists, so they focused their attack on the Carolinas and Georgia. Early victories gave Britain confidence. But the Americans used new tactics. Local militias, sharpshooters, and frontier fighters used guerrilla warfare to wear down British forces. Major American victories at Kings Mountain and Cowpens shattered British hopes of controlling the South. Each defeat pushed Britain closer to collapse. In 1781, British General Cornwallis moved his army to Yorktown, Virginia, a decision he would regret. Washington saw his chance. The French Navy blocked the Chesapeake Bay with 27 ships, cutting off all British escape routes. Meanwhile, Washington marched 300 miles from New York to Virginia in complete secrecy. By October, the British were surrounded. After 3 weeks of bombardment, Cornwallis surrendered 7,000 soldiers. The war was essentially over. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris officially recognized the United States of America. The revolution had cost more than 25,000 American lives, countless hardships, and years of uncertainty. But against impossible odds, the colonies defeated an empire and created a new nation built on liberty, equality, and hope. The world would never be the same again. Next episode, Building a New Nation, the Constitution and Bill of Rights, 87 to 791.